Hi everybody, welcome to Reality Buzz TV. Welcome. This is a channel where we talk about all things reality TV shows and reality TV show stars. So listen, you guys. I just watched, was it episode 16 of Uthando Nesithembu? And I have to say that I'm disappointed with the direction that the show is taking, because I feel like Mseleku is producing and directing and maybe even editing too much. Okay, it just wasn't a quality episode that we got on Uthando Nesithembu this time. I was like, oh, sekuphelile njalo, you know. Oh, so we're going back to storyline scar number 5. Oh, you know. So I ngichazanga le episode, but there's still a lot to talk about. Okay, so I want to talk about the issue of people saying that the wives baka Mseleku are ready to leave. Okay, people have been saying for years now that uMangwabe is over it. uMangwabe is over umshado wakhe kaMseleku. People will go as far as even say that uMangwabe must have a boyfriend right now. The attitude that she's giving Mseleku, and at some point they were saying the same about Tumayeni, but not really. It's mostly been uMangwabe. And then this season, people started saying the same about Tumayeli, to say what she has checked out, especially with her making a decision not to go to a trip with everybody else. And I've always maintained, you guys, that those wives are not going anywhere. I've always felt like that. I felt like some of the things that we watch on the show by an actor, no more being an act, but they know they're doing a show, you guys, and they know they're following. They want to take us a certain direction when it comes to the storyline. So, and they know the things that get us talking. And the more attitude uMangwabe gives to Mseleku, obviously we're going to talk about it. So part of it, I felt like they're just giving us a show, but I've always felt like those wives are not going anywhere, because Mseleku, if he is a disrespectful husband like we've seen him to be, where he talks anyhow to his wives or talks in a disrespectful way to his wives, he's always been like that. It's not something that he's doing now that he's doing a TV show. He probably has been like that even before they married him. So they know him. They married him enjalo, and they had been estrangeni. There's things estrangeni that happened. There's fights, there's whatever, there's trips, and then the other one is going on a trip, the other one is not going on a trip. So I felt like the fact that when the show started, they were already in this situation. I didn't feel like any of them would think about leaving or would actually leave, even when they were threatening that they were going to leave. You remember when Mseleku was saying he is going to take number 5, and uMangwabe no Mayeni were threatening to leave. Even then I said, you guys, these wives are not going anywhere. And I've also maintained that I believed ukuthi uMangwabe really loves Mseleku, and I felt like she is just not happy about certain things when it comes to their marriage. Okay, she's not happy about the fact that she's saying when she got married there was a promise of Mseleku not taking number 5. But in addition to that, there's other things that she's not happy about in a marriage. But I feel like she loves Mseleku, and I feel like she's not going anywhere. So while people were saying these wives are checked out, they might be leaving soon and all of that, I've always said that I don't think so. I think these wives are in it for a long haul. They're not going anywhere. You know, they might complain, they might threaten, but they are not going anywhere, you guys. I was of that view. This was the first episode ever, you guys, where I was like, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute, okay. How many wives does Mseleku have emotionally at this point? Physically, yes, all of them are still there, okay. All of them are still there because all of them are still living in their yellow houses, okay, that he built for them, or should we say that Tumakumalo built for them. So all of them are still there. But this was the first episode where I felt like, no man, Mseleku doesn't have, emotionally, he does not have 4 wives anymore. It was the first episode where I felt like Mangwabe has left this marriage emotionally. I think that when you get to a point where somebody asks you guys, wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, do you love your husband? I'll be like, yes, I love him. And then I'll go back to. And then in the morning, I'm going to ask you, so why were you asking me if I love him? Because I love him. That kind. So when you get to a point where somebody asks you, like, do you love your husband? And you're like, tand. Basically, Uma Ngwabe answered that question the same way that Umpumelelo answered the question. Did I say ask the question? Answered the question. Listen, let me give you a little bit of a background. We are still going to do the full review, you guys, for those who just want a rundown on what happened, okay, from sin to sin. In the diary session, Uma Ngwabe is asked by whoever asked them questions, because when they're sitting in the diary session, there is a person sitting across them asking them questions. There is somebody that asked her, and for some reason, they felt like it was necessary for us to hear the question from the person. Said, do you still love him? And Ngwabe is like, it almost like when they asked her the question, she actually, even the expression of her face, she became unhappy. And she said, like, Tand. That's how she answered the question. Are there possibilities that they edited it? There are absolutely possibilities. But when I looked at her facial expressions, I felt like, is it possible that Uma Ngwabe, honestly, you guys, not us just dramatizing things, because my video sometimes that dramatizes it so that it's, the videos are entertaining and all of that, without just us trying to dramatize the situation. Has Ngwabe really left? Because this time, you guys, I feel like Ngwabe gasekhola. Okay. Mseleku made an effort to organize this picnic situation for Ngwabe, because of course, you guys, even after the trip, Ngwabe hasn't given him any, or at least that's what they want us to believe, because they haven't been intimate even after the trip. So he's still hoping that Ngwabe will give him some at some point. Okay, he organizes the picnic situation. They go there in the data session while they are talking about arriving at this beautiful place where, under normal circumstances, a wife would be like, oh my God, this is amazing, would relax, forget about the kids, forget about the work, and just be like, let me be in the moment with my husband. But in the diary session, she said, listen, when I saw that, I thought, wow, it's beautiful. This lady is really gifted, okay? Talking about the picnic lady. She's like, this lady is really gifted. She's really good with these picnics and whatever. But I know that when Mseleku does something like this, he just wants to talk about something. So I know it's coming. There's something that he wants to talk about. So the whole time when I was arriving there, I was thinking, okay, bring it. What do you want to talk about? So she actually wasn't even enjoying that romantic, the strawberries there, all of that. But she actually wasn't even enjoying that, because the whole time she's thinking, Lendo tale English lana, to talk about something. What are you, okay, ufunani ke manje? That was her attitude, you guys. What do you want? What do you want to talk about? As much as sometimes I look at Uma Ngwabe and I'm like, I really just want her sometimes to just relax a bit. Because, listen, I can relate to Uma Ngwabe, because when I'm not happy about something until it's resolved, until I see something changes, I'm stuck in that place of, listen, I'm not happy with you, So I feel like sometimes I can relate to her, but there are moments where I feel like I wish she could just relax a little bit, But Ngwabe is not about that, okay? If it's not the time for her to relax, she won't relax. But I feel like we expect a lot from Uma Ngwabe sometimes, because how are you going to be relaxed and enjoying the moment with a husband that says to you, directly to you, and says, I did you a favor by marrying you. I rescued you, ngakutagula, ngakusava, I think I wrote it down, what ngakunyola, okay, ngakunyola, ngakutakula, ngakuqoqa. It's like he rescued her from dating all of these men that she was dating. By the way, you guys, people say she was slay queenish, there by the side of Iskotisak, but we don't know if it's true, you guys. But say, shame, is low, who dates around. So, uThuba Mseleku ngakuqoqa, yimi ngakuqoqa ngakunyula. I was like, listen, even when I have a moment where I'm like, hey, Mangobe, now I'll relax. You are at a picnic with your husband. This is a beautiful setup. But with a husband that says things like that, I'm like, how do we expect that Mangobe is actually just going to relax? Because even when he says that, she doesn't really give him any feedback as such. She just laughs. But in the diary session, she's like, I mean, is it right for somebody to say that? Is it right for somebody to say, Waktagula, Waknyola? He did you a favor and saved you from all of those men and made you umuntu. And sometimes, you guys, that's the attitude that men have, especially when they marry a woman that has a child or that has children. They would act like they did them a favor by marrying them. So now you must, for life now, be grateful that there was a man that was willing to risk it all for you, risk being embarrassed in the society because he is marrying somebody with kids. And I feel like this is a situation right here. But I felt, you guys, tonight I felt that Umangwabe, there are possibilities that she really has left the situation emotionally. Okay? And I don't blame her, to be honest, because there isn't a lot of times where I see Umangwabe being respected. Okay? She will be disrespected, and then Mseleku will do something sweet for her and expect her to forget about the disrespect. And for a woman, it doesn't work like that. It's like our emotions and our brains and, everything is like mixed up. Everything has to be, proper for us to feel. So I feel like I don't blame Umangwabe. Then Umacele, you guys, I feel like Umacele now is over. I think at the beginning of the season, I felt like Umacele is over the show. I feel like she's over the show. I feel like Ngati Uti ish iphelane ne show. Because remember, you guys, just as much as we've been feeling like our storylines are going round and round and round and round, they are the ones that have to have those conversations round and round and round every season. This season, she said a number of times, I don't want to talk more about that situation. I don't want to say more. And it felt to me like she was over the show. But part of me feels like she is over the husband as well, emotionally. Okay, she still wants to stay because, guys, Mseleku said ukuthi uMacele uyondliwa akasebenzi nokusebenza. What do we expect from these women? I will check out emotionally too and just stay in Ngesidumbu because here is a beautiful house here that I'm living in. Ngiyondliwa, if ukuthi ngiyondliwa, for those abondliwa, because Macele is the one that Mseleku said ukuthi uyondliwa, and then I will just stay for that and for my kids, okay, to have this situation here. Because how umuntu ozovela nje emphakathini athi akasebenzi futhi lo ngiyamondla, I'm taking care of her, she doesn't work. Do we blame them? This is the first episode where I felt like maybe you guys who have been saying that these women have checked out, maybe you are onto something, okay? Mangwabe, I felt it more with Mangwabe. With Macele, I was like, is she over it? Definitely she's over the show, because if you're not taking a trip, and a trip is part of the job, because you're going there to shoot. It's not like they go on trips all the time, but they're definitely going to go on a trip when they're shooting. So if you're not doing that, you must be over the show. But now I'm feeling like, and also, your husband already has 3 other wives, and you're not getting enough time with him, and you are pushing for him to take number 5. You're over it. You're like, listen, you guys, I need somebody to even take the little time that I have with this husband. Take it away from me. I don't need it. Guys, at this point, Mseleku is left with 2 wives. I think the only wives that are still checked in is Mayeni, because Mayeni has been the same ever since the beginning too. The only time she talked about leaving was the issue number 5, and that's the one that I felt the most that this one is not leaving. So I feel like Mayeni is still checked in, and then I feel like Uma Khumalo is still checked in. But there is something also that has changed about Uma Khumalo this season, because I feel like she's speaking up more, And I don't know how that is going to lead to. Maybe she's discovering herself. Because, listen, she came Mseleku very, very young. Before she even knew who she was Mseleku. So, and I feel like this season she's coming out more. We're seeing more of the side of her that we never saw before. So even her, she looks like she's checked in, still But I feel like, hey, anything can happen. Mseleku namakhosikazi awu-2 emotionally. Okay, he only right now it looks like he only has 2 wives that are checked in emotionally. The others is just, they're like, Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please tell me what you think about this in the comments section. Like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers.